flashing them, waiting what happens. Tragic events keep on flash. I need to choke someone. My teeth to poke little holes inside your blood veins. Celebrate the life of the dead and call it Samhain.
Comic Crook family. Thank you for tuning in with us again. I know we haven't heard our voices in a very long time,
God,
but I think we
it's
should
been
do
like
something
2 months, dude. At least two
Yeah, it's
months.
been a while. It's been a while.
Well, you and I were just talking about how we're gonna get back on this grind.
Yes, yes, we are. And I would say we even ghosted you guys.
Yeah, that's
Ghosted reminded me a little bit of spooky season, and that's what we're gonna dive into today.
It's my
We
favorite.
love you guys.
My
Thank you
favorite
guys
time
for
of year.
seriously tuning in. Yeah, it's an awesome time of year, and we can't wait to see you guys' costumes. Please, when you guys drop, if you guys have costume parties to go to, whatever you guys are doing, please drop the pictures of your guys' cosplay and costumes on our channel. We would
Well,
love to see that.
technically, our Comic Crooks costume contest is still open because
Yes, it
I
is.
only got one submission. I only got one.
Guys,
I got one submission, and that was through my personal email somehow. But,
guys, we need more submissions
yeah,
so
yeah.
we can give you guys a fair chance of some pretty cool prizes, pretty cool things coming forward.
My thought is they get a hat, they come on the show, maybe a T-shirt, something like that.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. So we have a T-shirt, we have merch out right now. I have yet to talk about this with my partner, and this is kind of be discussed in front of everyone, but we are in the midst of possibly sitting down with another company that's doing their thing, local from Arizona, and killing it, awesome clothing designs, and talking about collabing.
oh, I like the
Yes.
sound of that.
So if everybody has heard of The Freshman,
Oh
you guys
shit,
can look
yeah,
that up.
yeah, I've heard of that.
That is the company that we might be collabing with.
That'd be sick, bro.
He's an awesome, awesome human being. Um, really cool guy, and we got to kind of shoot the shit, and we're gonna kind of sit down, me, you, and him, and we're gonna discuss a little bit more of the details,
Right,
iron out the details and stuff like that. But yeah, some really awesome merch coming you guys' way. That's gonna be really cool.
right. Oh, and I think we might have mentioned it to him sadly, the last 2 months ago, the time we logged on.
Yeah.
But my partner here, he's got his studio finally getting ready to. I got to go over and get the details ironed out. But I actually got you I'm gonna bring you a boom arm so you can have your own boom arm. One of these guys.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I love you, dude. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring, cause
Appreciate that.
I'm gonna bring you a boom arm. I'm gonna make sure you're all set up with your mics, and then, that way we got no excuses. Like we'll have our own. Of course, you still got to think of a name for your studio.
Yeah, I was actually thinking maybe like the comic self
I like that. Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So what were you saying? Like what for our topic for tonight?
So I was gonna talk a little bit about spooky season, man. Everything spooky season. One thing particularly is obviously around this year, um, it's almost like a unspoken tradition, right? Everybody's getting their popcorn ready, sitting down and watching their spooky kind of horror movies. So I really wanted to get into what is your top 5 horror movies
Shit,
and
bro.
why.
Bro, that's rough, dude.
That's hard. It's hard
You know,
because there's a thousands of them.
Well,
that I love.
the thing is I gotta take. There's a certain set that I just have to like take out of this conversation because they're just like my favorite movies, like Evil Dead. Like
Yeah.
I can't mention Evil Dead in this series because like Evil Dead is just like my favorite fucking movie of all time. Like
Right.
did you see the most recent one, Evil Dead?
It was perfect.
I loved it,
It
bro.
was
Fucking
perfect.
loved it, man. Like every scene in that movie was good.
The
Every
Evil
scene.
Dead Rises. It
Yeah,
was so
dude.
damn good.
Dude, every scene in that movie, like it was such a cool throwback to the original. So like when she was outside the door and like they're looking at her through the peephole.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was an amazing kind of Evil Dead fit. You know what I mean? And like her teeth are all bloody, and and then she like sticks her thumbs in that guy's fucking eyes.
It was fucking nuts. No,
Just-
it was a perfect movie.
just like-
Actually, that was probably. Did you knock that one already out? So I'm not even gonna say that one. That would have been in my top 5.
Well, that's why
I love
that's why I'm saying
that
we can't
movie.
even talk about Evil Dead on this series because it's a given.
No.
It's a given. Like
Yeah.
Evil Dead is just But okay, so if I had to go for so like say number 5, going something from like 5 to 1.
Yep.
Number 5 would probably have to be the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, dude, that one for me. Like 'cause that, like there's just something about the, and there's just something about that, man. That
Sketchy, dude.
What's that?
It scares the shit out of you.
Yeah,
Sketchy,
right.
man.
There's just something visceral about a guy wearing skin on his face that wants to hang you from a hook and cut you to pieces and feed you to his family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the big thing is that Leatherface was based on a real guy named Ed Gein. You know what I mean? So was Norman Bates. Was based on Ed Gein. But I just there's just visceral is the word to use for Leatherface, dude. Like, put yourself. I've watched all of the Texas Chainsaw movies. Put yourself in that scenario as one of their victims. Like, think about in the second one when they're all sitting around the table and the girl's got her hands tied behind her back and they're eating her boyfriend. He's like what? You ain't hungry? You ain't hungry? You want to lick my plate? You know what I mean?
Whoa.
So,
Yeah, they're sketchy, man. They're scary as fuck.
yeah. So, but that's my first one. What about you?
I'm gonna specify. So, like, this is top 5, but none of these are like ranked in a particular order that's saying like this movie's better than the last. So I gotta go with OG Jeepers Creepers, man.
Good movie, dude. I saw that with my pops.
Bro, that movie is the shit, bro. I love that movie. First of all,
Creepers.
like, I think what scared the shit out of me is like I thought about it in such a realistic way. Like, realistically, bro, you're not escaping him.
Yeah.
How can anybody beat him? There's no other. And I this is a debatable thing. I know a lot of people are gonna be on my ass for saying this. Name another iconic horror person that can go up against him and win. It's not gonna happen.
Against the Creeper?
Not gonna happen, bro.
Pumpkinhead.
Nah, dog.
Nah.
Nah, bro.
Oh, man. I wish you guys out there could have seen his face. He just looked at me. Nah, dog. Nah, dog.
Nah, well, and I think the craziest shit is like, obviously, like the parts where he like literally like eats other people's like, things on their face and fills it in his, and just it's just nuts, bro.
Well, the second one was really good.
and-
The second one's really good when he's got all those people trapped in the bus.
Yeah.
That's...
The first and the second one were amazing. What I will say is, whoever created the newest one, damn you, that was horrible, and you need to reevaluate your life. you need to sit down with yourself in front of a mirror.
You need to do
and
some
think about if
introspection.
you're going to keep your same social and your same name. I think you should change your name, change your social, go out of the country, never do this shit again.
Well, yeah,
That was
dude,
horrible,
I got like
man.
halfway through it, and I'm like, what is this garbage?
It was fucking trash.
Yeah, dude, there's not ever...
Oh my god, it was so bad. There's a scene that literally looks like a green screen, and then I was like, why does he look like a decrepit, like less capable version of like the OG? Like, he just looked horrible. It was just horrible.
Well,
Horrible.
the whole thing about that movie is that like the movie Jeepers Creepers exists in that universe.
Yeah, that's what I hated. I hated that they try to make it that like the Jeepers Creepers that I love is a movie in that universe. They try to make it all meta and shit. Like, nah, bro, it did not work, bro.
Yeah.
If anything, that movie should be like a corny spin-off in the real universe that I love.
Yeah, right. It should be something. It should be something that they randomly walk past that's on TV or something like that.
Yeah,
and you get like a 5-second. You get like a 5-second shot of it.
Jeez, that was horrendous, bro.
Yeah, dude. The
What about you, man? Though.
Well,
what's for you, brother?
real quick on the Jeepers Creepers vine, because my dad used to. One of my dad's favorite things to do with me is, hey Keith, let's go to the movies. And I'm, all right, Dad. And then, we'd go back and forth with picking. And it was my turn, so I picked Jeepers Creepers. And my pops was never a horror guy. Just never a horror guy. And my dad enjoyed the movie, but he threw up when it was over. Like we went out to the car. I'm like, Dad, are you okay? He's like, yeah, yeah. Like,
That's fucked up, man.
that's just like I'll never forget it. I'm like, Dad, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm just not used to that much blood. I'm like, all right, Dad, okay.
That was it was pretty gory.
Yeah,
It was
well,
pretty gory looking back.
not compared, but so my
Yeah, I mean,
sorry,
for the time period.
yeah, yeah. So my next one is House of a Thousand Corpses.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. So
Yeah,
House
man.
House of a Thousand Corpses. That was Rob Zombie's like directorial debut,
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm sure you guys can tell by number two that I like gore. I like what they call splatter flicks. You know what I mean? I'm not into I'm not into torture porn like Saw and stuff like that. Like there's got to be a story behind it. But like
Yes, sir.
Otis Driftwood, that's Bill Mosley's character, which he's also in Texas Chainsaw. He plays Chop Top. And the guy says, "You want to lick my plate?" you know,
Yeah, yeah.
that's like in the second one, Devil's Rejects, when he quotes Charles Manson. He's like, "What do you want?" He says, "I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's work." And then smashes his head in with a fucking a log, and they show
Yeah.
it, and they show it. They show his like face just smash and become goo.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Well, then you got to talk about Captain Spaulding. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's that guy. That's one of my favorite clowns, except for
yeah,
my
he's.
nigga Pennywise.
Well, what you don't like clowns? Aren't we fucking funny? Yeah,
Fucking
you're
killed it.
like, I'm gonna come back here in 2 weeks, and if you can't tell me why you don't like clowns, I'm gonna kill your whole fucking family. There's just something about that, dude. Like, because like again, you think about the first like House of a Thousand Corpses, like Chris Hardwick is in that too.
Oh yeah.
And I like the horror movies that give you a sense of just helplessness. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
because you think about it, you're trapped by the Firefly family, the Firefly family. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Like you're gonna get cut up. You're gonna get turned into a weird piece of taxidermy, and then they're not gonna give a fuck, and they're gonna go on to the next they're going to go into the next carload of people that their car breaks down, or the Captain Spaulding gives them the directions to go see Captain or Dr. Satan's tree and all that shit. And then at the end of it, like when the girl starts to run away, and Bill Mosley, Otis Driftwood, he's like, "Run, rabbit, run, rabbit." It's like, fuck, bro. Like that just like, oh my god, just makes your skin crawl. You know what I mean? Like that. I'm going to use the word again, like that visceral, just down to your core, just, like there's no escaping this. There's no happy ending to this movie. You know what I mean? I think that's why I liked it so much. You know what I mean? Like all three of those movies were good. Did you ever see Three from Hell?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, dude,
It,
so good.
it was fucking nuts.
Yeah, like everybody hates on Rob Zombie's directing, dude, but I think he's fucking great.
No, he's first of all he's incredible, and he's an incredibly talented musician as well as a fucking incredibly talented director. And then actually, it's kind of cool that you mentioned him because he kind of leads into my next one.
All right,
So
go ahead.
He kind of messed around with a little bit of my man Mike Myers. Those zombie fuckers from Mike Myers.
Yeah.
So the next one I will say is one of my favorites is Halloween Ends, which is the last.
Oh,
one.
that one's so good. When
It's
he puts his mask,
stupid good.
he puts his mask on the fucking janitor, and then
Yeah.
and they kill the janitor.
It's so crazy because I think I was, and maybe there's gonna be a lot of people who's gonna try to kill me for saying this, but I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I was happy he fucking died. I was like, let's go.
But the thing is
I'm like,
he's not.
all these fucking years.
The thing is,
like,
there's no way he can't. Michael can't die. He's a demon.
well, they already announced that they're gonna reboot the whole series, and
Right.
that's obvious. Woo! But like the point is, like, he's been fucking people's lives up since forever, and like I was like, let's go, because that fucking his sister
Right. Yeah.
fucked his ass up.
Yeah.
I was like,
That scene.
yeah.
That scene is way good too. Like when she's
Hell yeah.
like screaming at him, and yeah.
I think what it is it's almost like the end game for his series, right? It was such a collection. It's a collective.
Hmm.
It's a collection from all the movies. Started from literally the first one, right? Which is came out so long ago, right? So you got to think that he's been torturing people and terrorizing people in that town since like literally decades now.
Right. Well, 40
So
years.
yeah, so that scene that he's like on top of the thing and like ride around through town, I was like, shit, like I feel that. Like, wouldn't you want that motherfucker to too?
Right, dude. Like I enjoyed the Rob Zombie version a lot.
Oh yeah, me too.
And there's people that hate on it because they like it varies from like the original story with Dr. Loomis and all that. But dude,
Right.
I don't care, dude. It was good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, it was good. One of my favorite scenes in like the OG one for Rob Zombie, if that makes sense. The first Rob Zombie one
yeah.
that he got to mess with. There's a scene where he's in the back of like a psych hospital truck, and like the fucking like they hear this weird ass noise, and then like he breaks out and shit, and like, he starts killing all of them. I don't know, it's fucking tight. It's one of my favorite scenes.
Well,
It's one
then
of my
plus,
favorite
dude,
scenes.
plus Michael's got some of the best theme music of all time.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Of all time. Dun, 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 dun.
And I feel like that's just kind of an obvious like throw out there, just because like obviously he's really iconic. Like, um, Mike Myers is the fucking man. Actually, that's who I want to be for Halloween this
Dude,
year. I wanna
nice,
be-
nice. I'm more of a
Yeah.
Jason. I'm more of a Jason guy, but I'm gonna leave that off this list too because that's just kind of a, kind of a given. Like I said, I like
Yeah.
I like slashers.
I think what I will say is we'll put Freddy as an honorable mention.
There we go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like these guys kind of as an honorable mention, just because these are kind of givens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So on that note, what about yours, man?
Okay,
What's your...
so my number 3 would be The Hunger.
Ooh, tell me
So
about that.
the Hunger is so these seven people, they wake up and it's pitch black and you just kind of hear them talking, trying to figure out where they're at, and then they find like a light bulb in the middle of the room, like hanging from a string, and you click it and everybody's in the bottom. So they find out they're in the bottom of a well, and there's a huge tub that's got water in it, and then on top of that tub there's a scalpel with a note that says the human body can survive 13 days without food. So the whole thing is this cannibal captured them, threw them in the bottom of the well to see how long they will go without eating each other. Dude,
Hell yeah.
like there's a scene where this guy starts to have like heart problems, and it's at like day 12 or whatever, and this guy starts to have heart problems, and then like there's this big conversation between themselves, like, yeah, he's gonna die anyway. Let's take him out. He's gonna die anyway. So this guy like starts having to have heart problems, and one of the other guys comes up and sticks him in the chest with this fucking scalpel, like a fucking 4-inch scalpel. And they by like firelight, they show them like cut this guy apart with a scalpel, and they just start eating him raw, and then like the movie like goes on to where it gets down to one fucking person, and then finally the cannibal starts talking to her down from the top of the well and explaining why she's down there, and then she more or less passes out from not because she at this point she hasn't eaten anybody, she hasn't eaten, she's abstained from like becoming a cannibal, so she basically passes out and pretends to die, and then when he comes down to get her, she fucking turns around and kills the cannibal. It's it's more of a psychological movie because a lot of it takes place in the dark, kind of like The Descent. You ever seen The Descent?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it's kind of like that as far as like a lot is left to like the audio. You know what I mean? It's kind of like left to you hear screaming and you hear like the wet crunch of bones breaking and bodies being cut, and you get like flashes of light, like a camera flash and shit like that to like just see, dude. It's a very claustrophobic movie because they're in the bottom of a well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's one, if you guys out there haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. Anytime anybody asks me about like my favorite horror movies, The Hunger comes up there like on top, dude. Like it's so good, so
Hell
good.
yeah.
So, you got another
Oh
one?
yeah. Yes, I do. So the Boogeyman that came out this year or last year, I think it's from this year actually. If you haven't seen it, I believe it's a Stephen King. It's based off a Stephen King book. The movie is so fucking good. And
The
the thing is,
Boogeyman,
when
huh?
the Boogeyman, yeah, you have to look it up, man. It's so good. When I watched it, I had these expectations because honestly, so before I watched the movie, I was, listening on my favorite YouTubers and their opinions. Everybody's opinions seemed really like kind of negative about the movie and oh, it's really not scary and it's this and that. I watched that shit and I was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? That movie was crazy.
You
And I
gotta
loved
love
it.
it. You gotta love it when a movie just hits you, and you're like, "What the fuck am I watching right now?"
It was so crazy. And then what I loved about it is it didn't mind crossing particular like thresholds of like what's okay to be seen in the movie and not.
Uh,
It was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy. And then
you said
just
it's Stephen
I
King.
thought what the boogeyman was gonna look more like humanoid, and it's not.
Yeah. Okay. I gotta check that.
But the way that it goes about it in the movie, it also has like a detective kind of aspect to it. You have to kind of figure out what's going on, and
Mm.
it was off the chain. Highly recommend it. 5 stars. Guys, go watch The Boogeyman. It was awesome.
Did you say that was Stephen King?
I believe it was Stephen King.
Okay. Yeah, dude. Stephen King's a master, dude.
Well, anything with R.L. Stein or fucking
Yeah,
Stephen
or like
King
The
is gonna be
Shining,
off the
dude.
chain.
The
Yeah,
Shining, fucking Misery. Like
yeah.
I can't even think of a bad Stephen King movie. Like
Even his like lower like not
well,
like
dude,
huge budget Hollywood ones.
it.
Crazy.
Like Pennywise, it.
I know that was. I was gonna go there soon.
Okay.
No,
All
no, no, no.
right.
That's okay. That's okay. No, I'll throw that out there. Yeah. No. Obviously, we'll have to mention the OG Pennywise and also the new one. I think the new one did
Oh,
an
dude,
amazing
yeah,
job.
dude. Bill
It was
Skarsgård, dude. Bill
fucking
Skarsgård is fucking
terrifying.
amazing, dude.
He was awesome. So, what was gonna be your next, brother?
The Exorcist, the original Exorcist, the
No.
OG Exorcist. Like I saw that for the first time when I was probably 12 years old. And I sat there watching it with my dad, and my dad had seen it, and for him it was just a classic movie, and just it is what it is. But like when she starts fucking herself with a crucifix, and it's like your mother sucks cocks in hell. Yeah, your mother sucks cocks in hell. Like, and she's not here anymore, but your mother's here with us. Like it's like what the fuck. Yeah, and like
Oh yeah.
when she comes down the stairs and they're like, "Honey, are you okay?" And then she just pisses on the floor.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what it is about The Exorcist, dude. But I remember reading an article like when The Exorcist first came out. There was people literally like running out of the theater.
Yeah, so there's people losing consciousness in the middle of the movie when it
Yeah.
first debuted. People literally, well, actually, we can get on this on another video because did you know during the making of The Exorcist, some of the people who are involved died in real life,
Yep.
and that there was actual footage caught of some of the people that were on the set getting lifted off the ground by nothing.
Yeah. Well, and the scene where she's thrown in the pit with the skeletons, those are real bodies, and she didn't know that. Those were real human bodies
Yeah.
in that scene. And they got like sued over that shit. But because
Oh yeah.
because there was literally like she's literally like splashing around in the mud, and there's like a skull right next to her. Like this half decayed like fucking skull. But like I don't know I've just heard that 1,000 times over the decades. That those are real human bodies. I can't tell you that that's the real for sure truth.
Yeah, we'll have to do our research on that before we confirm that.
Yeah. But like so and the thing is like there was a lot of shit going on in the studio when they were like putting the movie together.
Yep.
There was like right along when they did Poltergeist, it's the same kind of shit. Like
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
like shit going on in like the studio. Like the actors, like you said, the actors were dying. The actors like were having these crazy things going on in their life. Well, they were recording this movie. What was her name? Linda Blair, I think that was her name.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Because they were gonna what they did a more recent Exorcist movie. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Well, you know what? It's funny. I was just thinking about that movie the other day. That movie is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And that's her name is Jennifer. Jennifer Carpenter, I think is her name, the girl that played Emily Rose.
Yeah. Yep.
She was in Dexter.
Yep.
The thing is like all the contortion scenes in that movie she did on her own. That was not
That's
CGI.
crazy.
Yeah, and she's like when she like recites, we're not. I didn't, like, and she recites off all the names, and she's like, "We are Legion," and like, so, "I am Belial," and like talking about
Yeah.
all these demons that are inside of her. And then at the very end, she's like, and finally, Satan, the devil Lucifer, the devil in the flesh. And it's just like, oh fuck! Like I got goosebumps just like talking about it, like,
Yo, it
because
is
I
crazy.
actually have that DVD from like when it first got released on DVD. I still have that.
Well, the new one is what? The Exorcist.
The Pope's
I can't.
Exorcist.
The Pope's Exorcist. Something like that.
Yeah.
No. That's the Pope's Exorcism. The
Oh.
newest one that came out is still in theaters. It's called Exorcist. It just came out.
Yeah, I want to see the last Voyage of the Death Mirror. That's the one that I want to see.
Yeah.
That has
But
not.
it's funny that you mentioned the Pope Exorcist because that's where I was gonna go.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I need to though.
It is with Jared Butler, if I'm not mistaken,
Mhm.
Gerard Butler,
Gerard Butler. Yeah.
and it's fucking
No,
incredible.
it's Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Russell Crowe. One of the
they're
I always
kind
get
of
those movies.
interchangeable.
Yeah, I kind of get those guys too.
One
Incredible
was a
movie.
gladiator and one was a Spartan.
Yeah. Honestly, man, the movie was incredibly like done, and also gets kind of into the politicians of religion.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it kind of digs into like some of the things that people don't want to talk about as far as like the real behind some of these religions and who really is what's really who, and the movie's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, back in the days of when I was only doing Nerdy Bones, I did an episode on exorcism. I did like almost 3.5 hour. It was 2 parts, but 3.5 hours of talking about exorcism and spontaneous human combustion and
Oh yeah.
yeah, dude, like, cause like to be sanctioned by the Catholic Church, you have to. I think there's 7 things you have to check off the list to be approved to have an exorcism. Like it's speaking in tongues, unnatural strength, levitation, something about bugs. Like there's there's this fucking whole thing about it. But dude, because I'm not a religious person, but that kind of shit gets under my skin. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
When you start talking about like your eternal damnation of your soul, and
Yeah, I just probably should. I mean, that's scary shit.
We
Fuck
are
that.
Legion.
Dude, that movie is
How about Demon Knight? This will be an honorable mention. You ever seen Demon Knight?
yes.
Dude, that's a good one.
Yes.
He's like, "What do you got? What do you got?" And he's like, "It's Billy Zane, and he's wearing a trench coat and a hat." It's like, "Why do you fucking humans dress like this? You damn podunk motherfuckers!" And he like throws the hat on the ground and shit.
I love
Sorry, I was
So this
rambling.
is an honorable mention, and this is not necessarily a horror movie, but I guess it would be considered in the genre. It's not necessarily scary, in my opinion. But my favorite movie, like one of my favorite movies ever, is Legion.
Yeah, that's a good movie. Yeah, it's a great movie.
And I would consider that more.
It's it's like a supernatural movie.
Yeah, because it's kind of religious and it's also kind of horror. It's kind of in between. But crazy good movie. Then also another honorable mention, just because I seen it in theaters, was The Nun 2.
The Nun.
It was so good. It was so good.
Right?
So my actual one is, I would say, The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah, all of the Conjuring series is spooky as fuck.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could put any of those in that category.
Yeah, like that's right up there. Like one of my honorable mentions is going to be the original Amityville Horror. Like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's some spooky fucking shit, dude. Like, I haven't seen any of the Nun series, but the Conjuring that's all good. All those movies are fucking creepy as fuck.
You've never seen The Nuns?
No, I just haven't. Dude.
Oh, bro, go on backs and you have to watch those.
Yeah, I don't know why I haven't. I just haven't. Like those are.
It's really good.
Like I can't I can't bring myself to watch any of like the Annabelle series because dolls creep me out.
Oh, it's sketchy for sure.
Dude, dolls fucking because Annabelle is based on a real story.
Well, yeah, I know. I used to live 30 minutes away from where they had Annabelle in real life in Connecticut.
Ooh, yuck.
Yeah. So for a lot of people who are not from there, Western Mass is literally 30, 40 minutes away from Connecticut. So where
Right.
they had so where those dolls, the Anna Lorraine thing, is in
Mhm.
Connecticut. We were not that far away from it. Yeah,
No, thank you.
yeah,
No, thank you.
scary shit. Yeah, um, it's awesome though. I mean, it's kind of like it's just kind of just an honorable mention as far as like a place to go for Halloween is clearly Salem. Salem, Massachusetts is like one of the greatest areas you could ever go
Oh,
for
dude, yeah.
Halloween. I mean, come
Dude,
on,
yeah.
it's like the birthplace of Halloween. Man.
Well,
I
like
mean, it's like
I
crazy.
wasn't going to get into much into it on this episode, but Halloween is an Irish holiday. Without the Irish, there's no Halloween. It's called Samhain.
That's true.
It's called Samhain, and
Always.
yeah, one of my favorites is the origin of the jack o' lantern. I'm sure I've told you. I'm sure I've told you the story, but like the listeners out there, the origin of the jack o' lantern in Ireland, they don't pumpkins don't grow in Ireland. It's just not something that grows there. But they have turnips, and what they used there was a serial killer. This was real history. There was a serial killer named Jack, and that was just what he was named as. And they would cut these little skull faces out of turnips and put them on their fence, and it was a superstition that it would keep the serial killer Jack away, and that's why they're called Jack o' lanterns. So yeah, it's pretty interesting, dude. It's pretty interesting, and then like the whole going trick or treating and all that is. It's basically to because you don't like the big thing with in Irish culture. You didn't on Halloween night or Samhain. That's that's when the veil is the thinnest, and it's when you dress up so like a spirit doesn't like a spirit will mistake you to be another spirit, so they leave you alone. So
right.
and so when they knock on your door and they trick or treat whatever. So you give them all candy to go away, like that's the you give them like sweets and cookies and the whatnot so go away, knock knock knock. Okay, here you might be a ghoul, you might not, but here's some candy. Get out of here, go on, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Well, then when the Irish came to America, Devil's Night was a big thing. My grandpa did that a lot in Dublin. And then Devil's Night is basically it's the night before Samhain. And you go just cause trouble, because that's the veil is about to be thin, and there's nobody to blame. You know what I mean? You can go fuck with stuff because like it was the devils. Like one thing that my grandpa used to like to do was he lived next to this farm, and him and his buddies would take their wagons, like the wooden wagons, and and they would wheel them up on top of the farm's haystacks. They would it would take like 10 kids and they'd wheel them up on top of their haystack and leave them there. So like when they wake up in the morning, they got like 10 fucking wagons sitting on top of their fucking haystacks. You're just like, oh, that's fucking creepy as fuck. So, but yeah, I didn't mean to rant on that, but yeah.
No, I think it's important to know the history of things, man. Yeah, no, that's tight, man. That's tight. So shout out to my Irish people. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So you got one more, or was that the?
Yeah, no, I do. So and then one movie that like I loved it, and also I kind of freaked me out a little bit was All Hallows Eve, the first Terrifier movie.
Oh, dude, Terrifier is so good, dude.
Yeah, it was crazy nuts.
Dude, Terrifier.
When he was ripping the girl from like her crotch, that was fucking nuts.
Dude, Terrifier is amazing. Dude, like that's like Netflix has tried to rip it off. They got a movie called Jester, and it's basically just
I seen it pop up. I haven't watched it.
It's just a rip off of Terrifier. That's all it is.
What I will say is honorable mention, just because it popped up in my head. I just gotta kind of shoot it out there. My fault. Is The Grudge is nuts.
Say that again.
The Grudge.
Oh, The Grudge, dude. Yeah.
The Ring.
7 days.
Yeah, it's creepy, man. The Ring, The Grudge. Obviously,
well, both of those.
I'm a huge fan of Babadook.
Babadook.
I
was thinking about Babadook.
Scariest movie in the world, I know, but it's
I was thinking about Babadook when you were talking earlier. Kiefer Sutherland's in that.
Yep.
Yeah,
I love
Babadook's is another one of those like Drag Me to Hell. That's probably another one of my honorable mentions. Drag Me to
Fuck
Hell.
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I keep
Bro,
thinking.
that was
I keep
when
coming
the
up.
goat started talking though, bro. I
Oh, I
laughed
know, I
so
know.
hard, bro. That was even scary for me. I just started laughing.
Well,
He's
cause
like, "You're a bitch." I was like, "What?"
well, that's Sam Raimi for you, bro.
Oh yeah,
That,
man. Well,
that's that's the creator and writer of Evil Dead. That's Sam
yeah,
Raimi.
yeah,
That's Sam Raimi.
for sure.
So, did
What about you, man? You have
dude,
anything?
my number one, my
What's your number one?
the original black and white Night of the Living Dead. It does not get better than that. Because one of my favorite things about that is George A. Romero was he was trying to actually make an alien movie. He wanted to make an alien movie, and they just didn't have the budget. So that's where Romero came up with our common idea of what zombies are. Because before that it was all Haitian, all Haitian voodoo. Like the very first zombie movie is called White Zombie, and it was about a white man being in Haiti and being turned into what is called a Haitian zombie, which is just the word zombie actually translates into puppet. It actually means puppet. Before Romero, the concept of a zombie being dead did not exist. He was the one that came up with that whole concept. He's like, okay, let's make this alien movie. Oh shit, we don't have a budget. What do we got? Makeup that makes people look dead? Okay, I've got an idea. You know what I mean? And it was one of the first mainstream movies in history with a black man for the lead. And that's a huge fucking deal. And,
Oh yeah.
and it's so quotable. Like all of it's like, we're coming to get you, Barbara. We're coming to get you, Barbara. Like that whole movie from start to finish, dude. I remember being like 10 years old and watching the old black and white and just being freaked the fuck out. Like when there's a specific particular scene smashed together. But like you just see it's the group of people are holed up in the house, and they got everything boarded up, and you hear the classic like outside, which Romero came up with, the like the ominous just like so there's a scene of this girl in a white wedding dress. And the funny thing is I watched an interview with this girl like decades later. There was a lizard on a tree, and she walks up and grabs it and eats it, and that was real. She walked up and ate a yes, dude. Like you can see, like watch the movie. Like she literally she's just like shambling along in this wedding dress, and she like walks up and sees this lizard on a tree, and she just grabs it and sticks it in her mouth and fucking eats it. And that fucking was real. You know what I mean? So like the original Night of the Living Dead was fucking groundbreaking. Think about how in 2023 how popular the zombie genre is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like think, and it's all harking back to George Romero. He created the modern zombie. Because you got Night of the Living Dead, you got Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Twilight of the Dead.
Yeah, fucking everything. Yeah. Everything.
And then they got that rip-off series, Return of the Living Dead, where they're all like brains. You know what I mean? Like, no, dude. Like, no. I'm sorry, no. Like the only good scene out of any of the Return of the Living Dead stuff was when they got that zombie lady on a table and she's like, I can feel myself rot. Like that's like,
that was nuts.
like that's like the only good. And I can't believe I didn't mention any like vampire movies.
Like, I know, man. There's plenty of them. I mean,
dude,
like
30 Days of Night.
30
Days of Night is my favorite vampire movie.
Yeah,
and like they use that girl to be like bait, and like she's like, God help me, and the main vampire is like, God, no God. Like, oh shit. Oh fuck.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me of my favorite scene from an Alien movie, The Fourth Kind.
Oh, dude.
That was one of the.
Yes, with Mila Jovovich.
Freak the fuck out. Yes.
Yeah.
When God, I am your God. There is no God. I was like, oh shit! Like that literally terrified my fucking soul. Like it scared the shit out of me. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I think when it says shit that's just so out, like, this is how I'm gonna put it. I think the movies that scare me the most is when it gets you out of your comfort zone, right? Because as human beings, we like to hold on to what makes us comfortable, right?
Yep.
So what makes us comfortable a lot of times in dangerous situations is we believe that God's going to protect us, right?
That you're gonna be
So
okay. That you're gonna
yeah,
be
you're gonna be
okay.
okay. So when that sort of basis gets ripped off, and I believe in God. It's nothing religious or I
Well,
was saying in a movie, just in a movie, when that part of it gets ripped out, that shit's fucking scary because it makes you feel like you have no one to turn to. I'm everywhere. You can't go anywhere. You know what I mean? That's a scary fucking
like there's
feeling.
no
Like
hope.
that movie, was like shit. Yeah,
There's no hope.
the
Like,
scariest movies are like that. Yes.
yeah. What was the first movie that ever scared you?
You know what? It was the original It.
Oh, okay. Good
It
answer.
was the original It, and I watched it when I was like 3 or 4 years old, and it scared the living
Well,
shit
yeah,
out of
I
me.
bet.
It scared the living shit out of me. And then the other thing was actually a show, and to this day, it kind of gives me chills a little bit just because it used to creep me out. So it was the X Files in the
Okay.
90s.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Do do do.
so imagine that you'd be like about 5 or something like that, right?
Oh, dude,
And you're
I used
walking
to
up.
religiously watch the X Files, man.
Oh yeah, but imagine being like 5 years old, walking up a dark fucking staircase by yourself.
I want to believe. I want to believe.
That shit's scary, dude. It freaked me out. Like it used to, like I used to slowly walk up the stairs because I was like,
I get it.
so
I get it, man. I get it.
afraid.
I would have to.
So,
I would have to say the first one that like truly freaked me out was the original Predator movie, and that's not a horror movie, but I was like maybe 10 years old when that came out, and I just remember being so fucking scared of that movie when I was a little kid. That movie used to fucking freak me out because
well, I mean, he's not. I mean, he's a scary looking. It's a scary looking fucking species, bro. Like
they used to
the
fucking
concept
freak
is
me
nuts.
out. And that, and then Sleepwalkers. That another Stephen King. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Sleepwalkers used to fucking creep me out when I was a little kid. I forget that song that would always play. Like Sleepwalkers has like this song. I forget what it is. It's like an old like 1930s song. But
What I also need to throw out there, my bad, I didn't mean to
no,
cut
you're
you off.
good. No, I was just
Honorable
rambling.
mention is Goosebumps. Always
Goosebumps, dude. R.L. Stein
Come
all
on,
day,
yeah.
dude. R.L.
Fucking
R.L.
one of the
Stein's
best
awesome.
series in the world. Bro.
Dude, like
Speaking of which, have you got to watch the new series that came out?
I
on it?
want to watch that, man. I want to
Bro,
watch that.
they dropped 5 episodes on it. Disney Plus gave us a trick. I mean, a treat because it's trick or treat season. And so Disney Plus said, "Here, you guys go. Here's some candy." They gave us 5 full episodes of the new Goosebumps. And I thought, well, it got to be like 20 minutes because that's a lot of episodes to drop. Nope. They're almost hours each.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna have to watch that then.
It is so fucking good. I caught up the same day I watched it. So good.
Nice, man.
It is definitely different. They do a lot of paying homage to the old
Well,
one.
is Homeboy
but
supposed
it's
to be
its own thing.
is Homeboy supposed to be R.L. Stein, the character in the show?
I have yet. No.
Okay.
He's not R.L. Stein.
Okay.
It's a really interesting. There's definitely like a detective vibe to this.
Cool.
Which I enjoy. There's something that happened in the past, and we're still learning the full story of what happened and why things are going down the way they are.
Huh.
But I will say it features the most iconic parts of the original Ghostbusters. Excuse me.
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps. Which still gives you kind of like that. Oh shit! You remember that episode because it features the mask. I'm not gonna ruin everything.
Oh, nice, dude! I used to watch
It
the
features
shit
the
out of
mask.
the old.
That was one of my favorite episodes. It just little things, and it's a fucking awesome watch.
Yeah, I used to watch the TV show all the time.
That was my favorite.
Well, and then like they'd show that the dog would be on the dog would be on the porch and his eyes would turn yellow.
Yep.
And what was the other one? Are You Afraid of the Dark? I used to watch that one all the time. Dude, Are You Afraid of the Dark was really. Oh, dude.
You know what?
How do we get through this without talking about Tales from the Crypt? Dude, all that, dude.
Dude, that's just classic OG shit right there. But you know what I would say is I felt like I would put Twilight Zone in horror.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Dude, absolutely.
Yeah.
Twilight Zone and The Outer Limits, by far.
Oh,
dude, both of those were amazing, dude. Like the one that William Shatner wrote, the one on the plane. Like, there's something on the wing. There's something on the wing. That's my William Shatner impression. But
It's perfect.
yeah, dude, and he wrote that, dude. Like he wrote it, and William Shatner was a big part of Twilight Zone, dude. He did a bunch of episodes, like back before he even did Star Trek. He was in the original Twilight Zone.
Dude, first of all, like Twilight Zone was one of those things that like completely kind of creeped you out at the end. You're kind of like, whoa, what the fuck? One of my favorite episodes, and you probably remember this one, is that the whole thing starts off first where it's just like these people and they're starting to notice weird shit happening around their house and just like around their area. And then they realize that they're in a museum and aliens are looking at them. And they're like tapping the
and they have
glass
they have like
and
the weird faces. They have the they have like the weird like turned up nose face.
Yeah, and they're like, what the fuck? It's crazy, you know.
I think my favorite black and white Twilight Zone episode was the guy starts talking to his reflection, and his reflection starts telling him to kill people, and then by the end of the episode, him and his reflection switch places, and he's trapped in the mirror, and his murderous side is the one that's out in the real.
Free. Yep.
Yeah. That one was really good. But I think my favorite Twilight Zone episode is this guy. He's a librarian, and all he ever wants to do is read. That's all he wants to do. That's all he wants to do is read. And the story of the episode plays out, and a nuclear bomb hits, and he hides in the basement of the library. And he's like, "Oh, finally, all I have left to do in the world is read books. That's all I care about." And he goes out, and he's sitting on the steps of the library, and he sits down to read, and he drops his glasses, and his glasses break. Dude, that's a good one. Yeah, I could talk about. I'm glad you brought up Twilight Zone, dude. I fucking love Twilight Zone.
Oh, I love Twilight Zone.
And then Outer Limits. So we control the horizontal and the vertical. Do not adjust your television set. We control all you see and hear. That's so good, man.
It is, bro. It is. But I think, like I said, a lot of horror is well, it's also opinionated, right? So. Like I think one of the movie that I would kind of drop as an honorable mention is called Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth, yeah. Guillermo del Toro. Yeah.
That fucking creature is scary as fuck. I don't care what anyone says.
What is that called?
It was a fawn.
A fawn, yes. Yeah,
but the fawn is like scary.
Oh,
like,
and then homeboy's got eyes in his hands.
Yep.
Guillermo del Toro likes that because he did that in Hellboy too, and the Angel of Death, and he's like doing that shit. You know, you guys out there can't see me.
Guillermo del Toro,
Guillermo de
yeah,
Del Bull.
That gentleman, he's a legend in his own right. I mean, the dude's a beast.
He's put out so much good shit. You know, like I remember.
I think he reminds me of like the Hispanic version, respectfully, of why am I blanking on his name right now? Give me a second, I'll say it. Okay, Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, yeah. Well,
yeah,
Tim Burton is a dude. Tim Burton, bro. Tim Burton. Like,
they're both goats. Like they're both incredible.
I could not be more excited for Beetlejuice 2. Like, dude, oh my god, dude. Like, I follow Jenna Ortega on Instagram.
Oh, she's gonna kill it.
Oh, dude. Well, she's been posting like behind the scenes of like the filming.
Yeah,
dude. And of course, they haven't dropped any images of Michael Keaton yet because I'm sure that's.
Of course not. But Keaton's gonna he's gonna the same thing he did in The Flash. Ripped it.
Yeah.
It was the best part of the whole movie.
Oh, of course, man. Like, what do you mean am I qualified? Never mentioned that you're talking to a dead guy. I've seen The Exorcist 150 times, and every time I watch it, it gets even funnier.
But those are just some of the ones that we kind of thought about.
We could talk horror all night.
Yeah, we can make a part 17. Like,
yeah.
I mean, this goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
We do want to take the time to thank everybody who took the time out.
Oh yeah, and you know, appreciate your patience with us, guys.
Seriously. this is what we want to do. And I know that we talked a lot about this is what we want to do, and we're not dropping consistent content. We're well aware of our our lack of dropping content. We're going to be making more arrangements for that not to be a thing.
Right, right. Because well,
Um,
it's bothering both of us when we don't put stuff out. You know. So.
right, right. So we love you guys. Thank you guys
Oh yeah.
again. This is your guys' channel, so thank you guys for supporting us, being part of
Let's
it.
see them costumes. Let's see them Halloween costumes.
Yeah. Yes. Take care of each other. It is spooky season, which means that everybody got to be on the high alert to an extent.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
out for one another. Um, and have a great night. Thank you guys.
Yeah, you guys, and we'll definitely be seeing you before Halloween. But happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Halloween.
All right.